burn and cauldron bubble.
Witches. Halloween is a time filled with the imagery of witches, dancing and reciting incantations in groups around their cauldrons. Witches are popularly portrayed as ugly, green-skinned women with warts and pointy hats. And of course, what would a witch be if she didn't fly on a broomstick? The word witch most likely has its roots in Old English, pronounced witche. This meant a sorcerer woman, and is clearly the root of the modern word for the Wiccan religion. There are a great many pervasive ideas and myths surrounding witches. One popular idea is that all witches were and are in fact women. However, this is not the case. When we look at historic witch trials, especially in Europe and America, it's clear that men, women and children could all be convicted of being witches. Your gender wouldn't necessarily save you. An iconic myth is that witches wear pointy hats with wide brims, though again this is probably not the case. In the year 1215, Pope Innocent III decreed that all Jews needed to wear pointy hats with wide brims. The so-called Judan hat became an easily recognizable symbol for fear and hatred, and indeed it's argued that the overall visage of the stereotypical witch is itself an anti-Semitic slur. It is also widely believed that convicted witches were punished by being burned at the stake. But when we look at probably the most famous witch trial of all time, at Salem, not a single convicted witch was burned at the stake. However, many people were hanged. So, how did people go about identifying witches, I hear you cry? Well, if you had a suspicious birthmark, that could be a sign of the devil. Indeed, some people were accused of having invisible marks. A pact with the devil was a sure sign that you were a witch. If another witch pointed you out, you were a witch. If someone in your family had been convicted of witchcraft, you were probably a witch. If you were found to own the things required for black magic, coincidentally, also paraphernalia linked with cooking and medicine, you were certainly a witch. And if you were scared, or not scared enough, at the prospect of torture, you were probably a witch. Being convicted of witchcraft was dangerously easy, and the punishment fatal. The 18th century was an age of enlightenment, and in 1735, Parliament passed the Witchcraft Act. It has been said that this legislation meant that the fight was now not against the evil of witchcraft, but instead against the evil influence which such ignorant and superstitious delusions had on the minds of the uneducated masses. It was now effectively a crime to accuse others and say witchcraft was real. The last person to be convicted using this legislation was Helen Duncan in 1944. This Scottish medium claimed to be a witch and defrauded people in staged seances. She famously used cheesecloth to fake ghostly contact with the skin of blindfolded attendees. In 1951, the Fraudulent Mediums Act came into effect. So, witches, as popularly portrayed, may come from various sources. They may not actually exist. But you must never underestimate the value of an old wise woman, or man. Throughout time and across the world, elderly people have been rightly revered as wise. After all, they've seen it all before. And in many stories, their memories and advice are seen to be akin to magic. Whatever you get up to this Halloween, whether you're dressing as a witch or not, have a wonderful time.